Howdy, howdy. It's Tuesday Talks time. I'm not allowed to move or adjust my bench because my very savvy technological daughter edits all these videos for me for Tuesday Talks. And she showed me that every time, apparently, I go like this and adjust for Tuesday Talks. Every time. And then she started showing me the videos, and I do every time. I figured it could be like that thing where Mr. Rogers comes in, if you're old like me, and he comes in and he puts a sweater on and takes his nice one off and puts like his house one on. I'm like, well, maybe it'll be like that, where it's like a comforting thing that you know what he's gonna do next. Well, I'm gonna shift in my seat next. So I'm predictable. Anyways, I'm glad you're here. If you're here listening, thanks for being here. Hopefully these videos, if you go through my channel and you find some stuff, hopefully they're helpful and you're getting some education on some sound, wise education on health and nutrition. There's so much misinformation out there. And it's killing me because I just feel like there's more and more all the time. And I have so many women that are coming to me and they're so confused and they just don't know what to do, and they've bought in to so many of the things, the fat burning supplements, the juice cleanses, the don't eat this, don't eat that, the restrictions, this oil is bad for you, don't eat oatmeal, it's just endless, right? And it can drive you nuts. And especially if you're feeling like you really want to get healthy, you really want to lose weight, you just want to be stronger and feel better. And you just can't figure out like, okay, I really want this. I really desire this. Somebody give me the answer. So I'm hoping that these videos are slowly giving you those answers to understand what truly works and the process. It takes some work. Nothing is going to be a magic pill for this, right? So anyone that's trying to get you or trying to tell you like, if you eat this one thing, you're going to lose this weight. If you don't eat this one thing, you're going to lose this weight. If you do this one exercise, it will tone your butt. If you do this one exercise, it's going to tone your abs. Nothing is like that. And if you look around life, nothing is like that in life, not even just with nutrition and health, but with everything. Right? It's just not, if you want to be good at something, if you want to succeed at something, if you want a better job, if you want your kids to succeed, all of that takes a level of work. So the thing is if you're ready to do the work, the thing is how to take the guesswork out of it, right? Like, I think that's the biggest thing is you're like, okay, I know this is going to take some work. I totally understand that. It's also going to take some time, but I'm ready to take the guesswork out. So that's where I was. And I wanted to share my story today about where I was as far as like, I was actually putting in the work. I was doing a lot of work. I was working out. I was thinking I was eating healthy. I was doing all the things. And I really was working hard at my workouts. I thought, okay, more cardio, more HIIT sessions, more of this, more of that. And then less, right? The restrictive part of that, where it's like, restrict this food, restrict that food. I was there. So my story, it starts a few years ago when I had 3 kids. I think my youngest was, I don't know, he was maybe 7. And ever since my 3rd, I had always been someone that wasn't like naturally skinny, but I always worked out. I love working out. It makes me feel good. And I grew up, my parents taught me to eat healthy, so I knew what healthy foods were. So I thought, and I knew working out was good for you. And I did all those things, but there was something that switched. After my 3rd kid, it was the beginning of my 40s, and it was just like something switched. The weight on my body started shifting towards my midsection, where it had never done that my entire life. I couldn't get rid of the extra weight, which was really weird. And so this just like was going on and on. So of course, I didn't know. There's so much misinformation on there. I was one of those like scrolling through Instagram, finding all the different trainers, doing their random workouts, doing more of their random workouts, just like killing myself, right? With like these really hard hit workouts, high intensity interval training workouts, thinking that that was the answer. And most of the time too, I think what's so confusing is you look at these trainers and they look the way you want to look. And so I was like, well, she looks like that because she does that, so I'm gonna do that too, right? Where I later on learned to look for before and after pictures of the trainers because a lot of them, I had another coach point this out to me. She said, look at them. If they've looked like that all of their life, then that's mostly just genetics. Like they don't have before and after transformations. They don't have stories of like, I really struggled with my weight. They just have like, I've looked like this. I love to work out. I look great all the time. I gain muscle easy. Do my workouts. You'll look like me. And so I was convinced. I was like, okay, I'm doing their workouts. I don't look like them, right? So that was a huge learning curve for me too, is making sure that you look at a trainer. So, I can't tangent. I was going to tangent. I won't tangent. So I was doing all these crazy workouts and trying to eat. So I actually had tried several different things eating, and I decided that I would switch to paleo. Why? Good question. Again, just misinformation out there. Me assuming, okay, this extra weight, it must be stress. Obviously, raising 3 kids when they're little is stressful. I was homeschooling. There were other things going on in my life that were really hard. It must be my hormones. I'm in my 40s now. It's changing. So I just kind of blamed it all on that. And then sugar. It must be sugar, right? Sugar is bad for my hormones. So if I stop eating sugar, and of course it's carbs, because I had only heard my whole life the carbs are bad, right? So these are the myths that were going through my head. So I thought I'll eat mostly paleo. So that's what I started to do. I started to make these crazy paleo recipes. I really have a sweet tooth and baked goods. So I would spend hours making sure that everything I made and baked was paleo, making paleo snacks, making paleo breakfasts, and then making sure for dinner, I was like making sure carbs were very few and far and in between, and eating very little. And so interestingly enough, I start doing this. It's a lot of work to make, making from scratch all these recipes, right? Bars and balls and all this stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it was a lot of work. I was having to bake and make and shop and a lot because it had to be paleo. So what was the result of that? The result was I was losing no weight. I was actually starting to put on more weight around my midsection. And I was so frustrated because I was doing all these workouts. I was doing them 7 days a week. So I was like, I can't skip a day because if I skip a day, I won't look like her. And just killing myself, and nothing was changing. If anything, it was getting worse, right? Hormones were getting more out of whack because I was stressing myself out with these really high intense workouts every single day, which makes your cortisol go up, which is not a bad thing if you do that once in a while, but if you're doing that all the time, it's not good. A little guest visitor there. And of course I had like hardly any carbs in my body to fuel any of those workouts. It was all protein, and it was very high fat. If you're familiar with the paleo diet at all, you know that paleo is a ton of almond flour and nut butters and seeds and all that kind of different stuff. The fat content is crazy high. So now what I know, looking back, is I was consuming so many calories a day because I was eating all these healthy foods. Now, are they good for you? Yes, they're good for you. They're healthy for you. In that amount? No. No one needs that much fat. It's not necessary. It's not good for you, especially if you have goals that were similar to mine. So What were my goals? My goals were to lose weight. And actually, I just wanted to look like I worked out as hard as I did. I wanted to look like some of those trainers that's like, how are their muscles showing? Because I'm doing all these workouts and I don't have any muscle. It must be under there somewhere, but I don't have any. I struggled like this for a long time. So I was working, but I was also doing all the guesswork because I didn't know what I was doing. So I literally just kept spinning my wheels over and over again. More paleo, more cardio, less this, less that, over and over again. And I remember the stopping point. It was summertime. I was at a hotel pool and I was in my bathing suit and I was like, I'm done. I'm done feeling uncomfortable in my skin. I'm done feeling like I'm out of control doing this. I had followed a nutrition coach on Instagram for probably over a year and had kept going like, I should do her coaching program. I'm not going to spend the money. I can figure this out on my own. I should do her coaching program. I did that for a year. I kept going back and forth. I was like, I can do it. I can do it. I could. So I was like, when I get home from this little vacation I was on and out by the pool, I am going to do it. I'm going to put the money out. I'm going to hire a coach. And the experience was great in a lot of ways. It completely changed my view of food and macros and the way I ate and helped me understand what I was doing nutrition-wise was not working. It's kind of funny because when they put me on this, they did my macro numbers for me and they were explaining my macros and they put me on a set number. And I remember, so this coaching was one-on-one, but you didn't actually have any like personal contact with them. You just had to email them and then you would wait a couple days and they would get back to you. And then you wait a couple days. I'll get back to that in a second. But I kept pushing back, like, this is too many carbs, I'm gonna gain weight. So it's not like, boom, I started being coached and I was like, everything was easy and I just started counting macros and it was great. I struggled with it too, like a lot of my clients do. The first month or two, it's like, what is this? What are we doing? Are you sure? I don't believe you. I totally did that. I did it several times. And every time they would like up my carbs, I would tell them, I would email back, I can't do this, I'm gonna gain weight. And then I'd up my carbs and I was losing weight. And then I'd up my carbs again and then I was losing weight. And I was like, oh, it works. After like the 3 months, I was like, oh, the weight was totally dropping off. So that was so good in so many ways because it opened my eyes to the truth of what I was doing, that it wasn't the carbs that was making me fat. It wasn't the sugar. It was my overall macro balance and eating way too many fats and not enough carbs to fuel my workouts and feel better. And then actually give my body the calories it needs, not over giving it with all that fat. I was just giving it so much fat. What's it gonna do with that? It's not gonna use it for anything. Like the carbs, you fuel your muscles and your workouts and your energy. The fat just stays there, right? And is a little bit of fat good for us? Absolutely. I'm not bashing fat at all, but our American culture eats way, way, way too much of it. So all of this healthy fat stuff that everybody's gotten on of, oh, I need to eat more of that because it's got healthy fats, more healthy fats. We do need healthy fats. We need very little healthy fats. We don't need like an absurd amount of healthy fats at every single meal, like has become so popular. I mean, when was it? Like 5 years ago, people were drinking butter coffee or something like that. Like it's absurd. We don't need that much fat. We easily get healthy fats in our culture. Like they're a part of our life all the time. You cook a meal with olive oil, boom, you've got your healthy fats for the day. You don't also need to eat a ton of it at breakfast and lunch. Anyways, the thing I did not like about the coaching program that I learned was I had a very hard time with the inaccessibility to the coach. So that was a big learning curve for me because I couldn't get, like I said, I would have to email, and she was a coach and she had other coaches working for her. So I never knew who was going to answer me back. And I didn't really, like, I was having conversations with different coaches. So I was like, well, I don't know where I left off with you. And now this coach is emailing back and I don't know what you know about me. It just felt very impersonal. And so after a while, after I had kind of gotten the hang of the macros and stuff, I quit that coaching and I actually started with another coach that was more about the workouts, because I figured I kind of have a grip on this macro thing. I need to figure out more about this building muscle thing. So I hired another coach that helped me understand the whole hypertrophy progressive overload strength training, which is what I do for my clients. No more random workouts, no more just going in there and throwing my body around or crazy hit. It doesn't actually grow muscle. So she gave me a workout program. She walked me through how you stick with the same program for a good 6 weeks and you force that muscle to grow by using it over and over again. And those two things completely changed my body. So it's not like I had to work for it, but those two things put together, when I finally figured out the two things that actually work, they took the guesswork out for me. So again, I was ready to do the work, but they took the guesswork out for me. I loved it so much. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's the answer. Like, I was so excited that I was like, I gotta tell other people. And I became one of those people that, like, at every single event I was going to, I was just like waiting around for somebody to ask me about macros or lifting or something. And somebody was like, you should do this. Like, you are really, really passionate about it. Probably as a little bit of a like, please stop talking to us about it. Go talk to somebody else about it. So I decided yes. So I started to go to schooling for it and get certified in the nutrition. I took online nutrition classes and I loved it. I was just such a nerd, soaking it all up. And it had been such a long time since I had like taken classes and learned stuff like that and had to write notes and like take tests and that kind of stuff. It was so fun for me. And then I went through a macronutrients course to help me learn better how to coach through that. And then I also love all the weightlifting stuff. And so I took a biomechanics course, which is all about muscles and exactly how they're inserted in your body and what works to grow them and what doesn't work to grow them and what moves are people doing in the gym that do absolutely nothing for you and what moves in the gym are actually doing something. And all of that stuff, I just love. I just eating it up. And what's super fun for me too is that I keep continuing my education. So like I have another biomechanics course lined up. I just want to keep learning because the more I learn, the more I can help people. And I love helping people. I love it. It fills my heart so much. So the clients that I work with who find food freedom and start losing weight and figure this all out and put all these pieces in place, and it's just like, oh, it makes me feel so good. I just love it so much. And I think the last piece was that I also went back and hired another nutrition coach at the end because I knew I wanted to be a coach and I needed to be taught, right, how to be a coach. So I kind of took all the pieces of my different coaching and what I loved most about each program and then put it into my own program to make it really highly personal because I didn't want people to be just getting emails from random people. I wanted to actually speak with them and encourage them and send them voice messages and let them have my phone number so that they can text me when they're at the grocery store, knowing what protein they need to buy. Or even just text me if they're super frustrated and having a really bad day mentally. It's one of my favorite parts is just to walk through with people and get over that mental hurdle of like, you can do this. You are stronger than you think. So I just kind of went, all these little things that I loved so much, and getting feedback from other people that have had coaches as well and just listening to them is what I really try to instill in my coaching program. So that's kind of my story and how I got to where I am, at least part of my story. I didn't talk about how I'm a classical pianist and I also teach piano. That's a whole different life. That's a whole different side. That was earlier on. Well, I still do it, but that was early on. But anyways, I just thought that'd be nice to share. And so that you know, if you're interested in coaching and you're just kind of on the fence, you're like, who is this girl? What's she doing? Does she have any idea what she's talking about? So thanks so much for being here. And again, if you ever have any questions or anything, please message me. I will make a whole video about it. I love to talk about stuff, and I'm cheering you on your journey.